Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and it's all too much. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And it's becoming more of a lot.
Yes, it is.
A lot more. A lotter.
Yes.
This is one big lotter.
It's all one word now.
Yeah.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is brought to you by the Moon Kingdom. Today we are talking about episode number 34. Hikari Kagayaku Ginzu Isho, Tsuki no Princesu Tojo in Japanese. The Shining Silver Crystal, The Moon Princess Appears, the English translation, and the English title, A Crystal Clear Destiny.
It's Tojo again.
Yes. Again. Soldier. Again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did they just leave that out of the English translation?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I guess they don't ever really call them soldiers in English.
No. I'm wondering if somehow the Moon Princess is a Tojo. I don't know.
Well, no, because it was Venasu Tojo. It was the Sailor Venus or Soldier Venus.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I'm not really sure why that is, but for some reason,
Purinsesu
Tojo. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Sailor V an Aidoru?
So a big part of the manga is she kind of aspires to be an idol, and she crushes on idols and is a huge fan of idols.
Wow, you gave that up real fast.
And she fights idols.
I don't know. You might break under questioning. Gave that up super fast.
Wow.
I asked because I just got a new game for the Switch called Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore, and it is
long title.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's why I took a breath. And it's about like teenagers, go figure, who are in high school or whatever, and they transform. I think they're 18. Somehow, all these teenagers are 18. All these high schoolers,
Of course.
They're all studying for their college exams, as we know from this show, and they get the power to transform. They have a henshin transformation into
Nice.
Sort of musical superheroes, and so
Sure.
And then it's like there's a dark kingdom with like evil spirits that want to steal the music and the ice cream from the world.
Of course. Okay.
And so yeah, it just feels kind of like that, and it's like, oh yeah, that'd be a great idea for an anime. Oh, we had that idea. It was a manga, and it was Sailor V.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yep. More or less.
In Sailor Moon, there's only one song, and it is Moonlight Densetsu.
Yes.
And it plays everywhere.
It does. It's a good song.
Have you heard this great new track? It's like a samba version of... It's all tango music and that one song.
Moonlight Densetsu.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Would you like to give a brief synopsis?
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I'm going to try.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be a lot, and it's not going to end satisfyingly. But here we go.
Yes.
I literally... Yeah, I screamed at the TV when it ended where it did.
I understand.
Not used to
totally
this
get it.
from this show.
I know.
Before we get started, real quick, I just wanted to say, we are on streaming services. People know that. People aren't just sticking a shell to their ear and hearing this show.
I hope not.
Right?
How would that happen?
And whenever people are on streaming services, a great thing to do is you subscribe to the show. Mm-hmm. Why not take a second and give us a rating and a review? Mm-hmm. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
And we want to thank the viewers, they're not viewers,
right,
who do that by calling them out on the program.
Mm-hmm.
Calling them out.
Come recognizing them?
Come on, Bongmaster 420. You're going down. No, recognize them in a little segment called, we don't know. We don't have a name for the segment. But
No.
I'll tell you what. In addition to streaming services, we're also on social media. So if you find us at noob_sailor on Twitter,
yes,
or on Facebook at Sailor Noob, just let us know. If you come up with a cool name for this segment, maybe we'll test a couple different ones out. But this is the Reading 5-Star Reviews segments. I've got a review here that comes from Apple Podcasts. It's from user Ray the Nerd. Is this an alternate version of Ray, an alternate universe where Ray has a pocket protector in the pocket of her Fuku costume?
Right.
And big Umino glasses?
Right. I'd like to
Figures
think so.
she'd like the show.
No.
They gave us 5 stars, and they said, this is a great show for fans of Sailor Moon, people interested in Japan, or newbies to both. The hosts have a great banter, the episodes aren't overly long, and each episode gives a thorough dive of the episode. 5 out of 5 roses.
Thanks so much. That was awesome.
This is an example of our great banter.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks so much. Glad you enjoy the show. And we're always looking to talk to fans of the show on Noob_Sailor.
Yeah.
And on Facebook as well. And I think we've got a link to the Discord in the show notes for the network's Discord. So, yeah, we got a room for Sailor Noob. Talk about anime, talk about all that great stuff. But, yeah, thanks so much, Ray the Nerd. Love them glasses. And keep them coming, everybody. And keep the title segment for the segment is coming as well, too. Let's mock one up right now. Or arigato gozaimasu. Gozaimasu. This person's like, he's thanking my dog? What?
How about like just simply domo or something like that?
Domo arigato, Mr. Podcasto.
Ooh.
What do sushi chefs yell when you come in?
Irashaimase.
Oh my god. Having flashbacks. PTSD.
Yes.
And there's something too that you're supposed to say that's like, sorry for interrupting your work or something like that. It's like a response to that call and answer. But
wow.
Maybe that should be what it is. Maybe we'll figure out what that is. Are we working or they're working? Well, it's working listening to this, I guess. But anyway, thanks for the reviews. Keep them coming. Let's see. At the beginning, no more I'm Usagi Tsukino. That's gone. We get more of a last time on, explaining the appearance of Sailor Venus, Tuxedo Mask's injury, and Usagi wondering if Venus is the Moon Princess from last episode.
Yes.
So this is essentially our first two-parter. And we open exactly where we left off the last time. The Sailor Scouts are contemplating their new teammate, Sailor Venus. Usagi asks her if she's the Moon Princess, but Venus says, after smiling, no. Big smile, no. Yeah. I'm just a guardian who protects the princess. And Usagi is like, she's not even hearing this because she's like, oh my god, it's my hero, Sailor V. She's right here. And the whole group have a nice little moment together. But the work goes on, and Artemis says, hey, we're right in the middle of an investigation. We got to get back to that. We'll tell you everything tomorrow at Hikawa Shrine. We'll all meet up.
Right.
In the Dark Kingdom, Zoisite and Kunzite are before Queen Beryl, and Kunzite wants to know why she summoned them back. It's like, we had him, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And Zoisite's like, we're just about to get the crystals. We're going to kill Tuxedo Mask. Sure you were, Zoe. Sure you were. Beryl tells him that the great ruler ordered their return, and he has said, don't kill Tuxedo Mask. You bring him in alive.
Right.
Speaking of the devil, at Tuxedo Mask's apartment, it's after midnight, and Mamoru is still reeling from his injury, and he's frustrated that he couldn't protect Sailor Moon. And he's bleeding all over his couch. It's bad news.
Yeah.
And I assume it's like a nice leather couch. And a voice says, nice place. And we see Zoisite on Mamoru's big screen TV.
Yes.
My boy Zoi's got jokes.
I know.
And Mamoru's like, how'd you find me? And Zoisite says, once I learned your secret identity, it was no problem. There's a phone book. It's the 90s. Look, why don't we work this out? We'll fight fair and square for the crystals. You meet me at the Starlight Tower by the bay. And Mamoru says, oh, you're on.
Right.
You're on. I'll see you there. And he calls him Mamoru-chan, which I think is like, it's just so great. And then we'll come back here after. And we see a view of the bay, and the Starlight Tower is huge. Like, is this is not a normal building in Tokyo, clearly.
Right.
It towers over every other building. It reminds me of the Citadel in the video game Half-Life 2.
Okay.
Because there's a city 17 or whatever it is, and then the Citadel is clearly like, a mile and a half high or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Next day, actually at the end of the school day, we hear Usagi say goodbye to Miss Haruna. Remember when she was on the show?
Yeah.
And she races out of Juban Jr., and she's like, when she says goodbye, she's like, oh, goodbye. But as soon as she gets on the street, she's like, stupid Haruna. She gave me detention. Everybody's waiting for me. Haruna was just the instrument of justice, Usagi. Maybe you shouldn't have done whatever you did to get detention in the first place.
Yes.
On the street, she sees Mamoru limping along, and she's like, hey, why so down? And she smacks him on the back, and he's like, ah!
I know.
It's Bunhead. Oh, you're always so cheerful. Dramatic music begins. I hope you stay that way.
Uh-huh.
And he leaves. He limps off, and Usagi's like, he's not bagging on me. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird. My hand is covered in blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
At 5 p.m. exactly, across the street from the Starlight Tower, Mamoru is waiting in an alley when a hand grabs him from behind. He's about to karate chop. But
Yes.
It's Usagi, and she says that she was worried about him, so she followed him. He tells her, it's none of your business. Get out of here. You get out of here.
Yeah, right.
And he walks off, but she keeps following. Abruptly, the sky turns red, or more accurately, a red sphere appears around Mamoru and Usagi and transports them to the Starlight Tower.
Yes.
Because this show's only 20 minutes long.
Right. We gotta
At
get to it.
Kawa's shrine, Rei, Mako, Anami, and Luna are waiting for Usagi. She's not answering her Avengers card. She's not at any of the all-night buffets. They're worried about her.
Yeah,
They can't find her. And this isn't like her. Well, it is like her, but it's more than usual. And Minako Aino, a.k.a. Sailor Venus, a.k.a. Codename Sailor V, a.k.a. Codename Wa Sailor V, a.k.a. Kodonimu wa Serabui, arrives with Artemis and says, she's at the Starlight Tower. It's like, wow, I'm glad we got this girl. I mean, after 30 episodes, we can just start clipping through this thing. Like, come on, let's go. The girls don't recognize her because, they never saw her secret identity, even though they don't wear masks. But
I know,
whatever.
I know.
It's magic. But the talking white cat is a big giveaway. I guess they need to give maybe Luna a domino mask, too. Who was that cat? That purple cat.
With a crescent moon bald spot. Yeah.
Mino says Usagi must have gone to the tower alone, and Luna is like, if Usagi was that kind of girl, I wouldn't have to work so hard. You're going to eat those words, cat!
Yeah.
Watch yourself! Mino's like, let's go! And there's an awesome theme playing, and I don't know what it is. I know it's not the song that I heard on a fan-made trailer for a non-existent Sailor V series, because that song slaps. But this song is good, too. In the tower, I think it's supposed to be the top, or maybe it's just a room in the tower, but you can see other buildings. Zoisite meets up with Tuxedo Mask, a.k.a. Mamoru Chiba, and Usagi's unconscious for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Zoisite says, here is all of our crystals. I'll just put them on the ground. And he puts them on the ground like they're playing marbles. Now you put yours down. And Mamoru says that, I'll do it, but you have to let the girl go. Mm-hmm. No, Mamoru, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants the crystals.
Yeah.
Evil will always triumph over good because good is dumb. He puts his crystals down, and Zoisite laughs at how stupid he is, and it is pretty funny. Kunzite appears by the crystals, and now the Dark Kingdom has all the crystals. Kunzite says, well, you got it all figured out. I'll see you back at home, and disappears. But as he does, Mamoru throws a rose at his face that goes through him the second he disappears, and it cuts Zoisite's face, who's standing right behind him. Zoisite is like, my face, you bitch!
Yeah, pretty much.
He disappears in a puff of flower petals, and he says, come to the observation deck on the top floor. Okay, they're not on the top floor yet, I guess. If you want to get the crystals. Usagi has woken up by this point, and she heard rainbow crystals, and she thinks, why does Mamoru want the rainbow crystals?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she hasn't caught on yet.
Are you serious at this point?
Yeah.
Are you on this show?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe Dumb Bunny 3. I mean, she's doing her job. She's being a friend to a guy that she doesn't really like, right?
Right.
But come on at this point,
I know.
Usagi. Fog envelops them. They're inside. Fog envelops them.
Right.
In a skyscraper. And Zoisite says, now get a taste of fear. And ice begins to form all around the room. This is a new power. And huge ice stalactites begin to fall from the ceiling, and it chases them from the room. Usagi sees Mamoru favor his shoulder as he runs, and she thinks, Tuxedo Mask hurt his shoulder yesterday.
Yeah.
No, it couldn't be. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Sorry. The ground falls away behind them, and aren't they in a building?
Yes.
It just falls away to an abyss.
Yes.
I guess it's a tall building. Maybe it's totally empty inside. They run to the elevator and they hit the button. No. Use the stairs in case of emergency.
Right.
Or building falling apart.
Yeah.
But anyway, they get in. Usagi thinks that they're safe in the elevator. Mamoru, not so sure. And the walls of the elevator become green and kind of organic looking.
Yes.
And the door disappears. Mm-hmm. At this point, why didn't they not transform?
Good question.
I mean, secret identity? Important.
Yes.
But
clearly.
You know this guy.
Yes.
Why would he tell anybody you're Sailor Moon? Why would he even care?
Right.
Also, same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
She's a little, you could definitely get the secret identity out of her for a popsicle or something like that. But what are the chances? I mean, this is a bad situation, and they're both going to take it on in their civilian guises. I think it's a little strange.
Yeah.
On the street, the sailors arrive, and they have reached the tower. Mm-hmm. Ami and RoboCop, no, I wish. Ami RoboCop scans it, and she sees that Usagi and Mamoru are trapped in the elevator. All the doors of the building are sealed, and Artemis is worried about how they're going to get in. Mm-hmm. But Jupiter, ever the young woman of action, just activates Supreme Thunder and blows a door open, and they just go in the building.
I know.
I like that.
I do too.
And I like the fact that we've established that Rei is the hothead of the group.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that she has to be impulsive necessarily. They fit, they have
true.
kind of archetypes, but they don't fit in those archetypes necessarily. There's room for other characters to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. And we've already seen that Jupiter will just pick up what she thinks is a human being, but turns out to be an evil monster with game powers.
Right.
And just throw him in a bush because she's going to deal with the situation.
Yeah,
and so she's just like, whatever. Just blows the wall up and they go in. From on top of the tower, Zoisite and Kunzite watch the sailors enter the building, and they agree that if they defeat all the sailors, capture Tuxedo Mask, get the crystals, epaulets are going to be huge. Big promotion.
Right.
Plus, Zoisite wants revenge for the cut on his cheek. Mm-hmm. It's a little tiny gap. Are you ever get a cut on your face?
Yeah,
it heals really quickly and well, but whatever. Yeah. In the elevator, Usagi asks why Mamoru wants the crystals. Not how he knows about the crystals, why he wants the crystals.
Right.
He says that he wants them so he can get his memories back. And he tells us when he was 6, his family got into a car wreck and his parents were killed. And this isn't just a wreck. They go off a cliff.
Yep.
Stephen Strange style. Mm-hmm. And Mamoru survives, but he can't remember who he is.
Yes.
I mean, he's a kid.
I know.
What's he going to remember? And since then,
pre.
He knows all this.
I know.
When I was 6, since then he's had this dream about a woman telling him to find the silver crystal, so he can get 6 years back.
I know.
2 years of Sesame Street he might remember. Are we going to find out that his parents are, superheroes or something like that? Who knows?
Yeah, I hear you.
Usagi says, I used to think that you were the worst person, but I'm promoting you to second worst.
Yeah.
You beat Rei. Hey, all right.
I know, right?
Usagi sees in her mind's eye, I guess, there's this weird thing where she kind of sees Tuxedo Mask where Mamoru is.
Yeah.
Come on, you're so close.
I know.
And she's having trouble sort of rectifying this, reconciling this.
Yes.
Atop the building, Kunzite summons a great storm, and we see, because we know he loves darkness, and we see the sailors ghostbustering it all the way up the flights of stairs to the top of the building. So 200 flights of stairs. They're in good shape. Gym class paid off. All those weird baggy diaper pants.
Oh, my God.
In gym class. A gigantic tornado appears and transforms the tower, or perhaps reveals the tower, to be an ugly, dark kingdom-looking tower.
Yes.
And the elevator stops. We see Zoisite at the top of the elevator shaft. He's, the elevator hasn't made it to the top yet, but he's sort of looking down. And he juggles a few fireballs. This guy's got the stuff.
I know.
He says sayonara, and he envelops the elevator shaft in flame. The flame is coming down. I don't know how they can see it. Maybe they're just the elevator is transformed into a platform, I guess.
Yeah.
And Usagi's worried about transforming into Sailor Moon because it'll reveal her identity. But this is it. This is a Peter Parker moment, baby.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
So she finally calls out Moon, Prism, Power, Makeup. and she transforms. And all the while, we keep cutting back to the fire coming closer and closer.
Yes.
And Mamoru just like looking on in disbelief.
Uh-huh.
The fire finally reaches them, and there is a huge explosion. Debris is flying everywhere. And Zoisite is like, well, I guess I'll just report that Mamoru Chiba died in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly smaller epaulets, but no big deal. It's worth it. And then we hear, you call that an accident? You're going to pay big time. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you. And Sailor Moon and Mamoru they're all right.
Yes.
And they're ready to fight.
Uh-huh.
And Zoisite is like, I'll defeat you and Tuxedo Mask. And she's like, huh? Tuxedo Mask?
Yes.
Oh, girl. No. Behind her, Mamoru says, check this out. And he pulls a rose from his blazer. He's got an awesome transformation into Tuxedo Mask.
I love it so much.
Full on Sailor Moon style. I don't think we've ever seen this before.
No.
And she is blown away. She has this whole montage where we go back through their history together. And she sees Mamoru talking to her. And she sees Tuxedo Mask talking to her. But all the Mamoru quotes are like, you need to study harder. Hey, look, everybody, dumpling head is turning into a meat bun.
Yeah.
You'd be a lot more pretty if you smiled. It's a little off-putting.
It is.
But anyway, we finally reconcile these two things. She's like, you're Tuxedo Mask. He says, you've been brave, but I'll take it from here.
Mm-hmm.
Shook its head.
Whoa.
Honey pie. Zoe and Tux square off, and Tuxedo says, leave her out of this and I'll fight you. And Zoe says, sure, as he prepares a crystal to stab her in the back, floating behind her. Just as it seems that our girl is going to be Sailor Kebab, Tuxedo Mask steps in the way and gets totally skewered.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's it for old TM. Just then the sailors arrive, and it looks bad. Sailor Moon sheds a single tear. And elsewhere, as Kunzite is admiring the rainbow crystals, they suddenly fly away towards Usagi, wherever she is in relation to him.
Uh-huh.
Each of them enters the tier, I think. I don't know how big this tier is.
Yeah, I think that's what happens.
And they combine to form the legendary silver crystal.
Yes.
Everybody is blown away.
Yes.
The crystal fits itself into the moonstick. Yes. No one knows what's going on, including the audience. Usagi's eyes go like total blue, and she is immediately clothed in a white gown, the gown that we've seen on the girl in Mamoru's dreams and the girl who's dancing around in the end credits.
Mm.
Which the show immediately cuts to. That's the end.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Is the show going serial?
Yes and no.
From public radio, I'm Sarah Koenig. This is serial.
There, if memory serves, there will still be like standalone episodes and that sort of thing. But right now, the answer is yes.
Wow. So nobody's keeping score. No one's keeping score.
Mm.
But the bad guys got all the crystals.
Yeah, they did.
The good guys got all the crystals.
Nope, you're right.
All the crystals combined to create the silver crystal.
Yep.
I stopped short of predicting that Usagi was the Moon Princess because it seemed way too obvious.
So you didn't predict it, even though you thought that's where it was going?
There's one character who has the dango hairstyle in the entire show.
I know.
It just seemed like a low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging meat buns. So we're looking at a 3-parter, at least.
Yes.
Because we got to pick this up next week.
That is correct. Yes. I know. It's a lot. I told you these next couple episodes, they're
You
jam-packed. They are jam-packed.
know what I'm really worried about?
What?
My boy Zoisite.
Yes. I hear you.
I'm worried about him.
I hear you.
The next episode's going to be called Goodbye Zoisite.
I know.
I don't want him to go.
I don't want him to go either. I want him to stay forever. He's probably, I'm seriously thinking, maybe one of my favorite villains, possibly all time. Maybe up there.
Really?
Possibly.
Before, like, Thanos?
Well, but
I don't really like
see,
Thanos.
okay, I don't really like Thanos either. Like, the thing about Zoisite is you love to hate him, you know? And you're like, ooh, but that was such a good zinger, and wow, that was so much flair, and, you know? And, like, you like him in spite of him being evil?
If we're doing, go with me. If we're doing comics, the Red Skull's like that.
Okay.
I know that he is literally a Nazi and a racist.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's just a guy with a skeleton head. Well, sometimes he has the powers of Captain America too, depending on, where we are. But so it's like, why would this guy? But he's just like, he's a genius, and he plans for every eventuality. And like any hero that has a strong code in something, you can manipulate that code, So he puts Captain America in positions where he basically, he mocks his religion, basically, which is America and freedom. And so, like, for that reason, I think that's
similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's not sympathetic at all. Like, I don't think Zoisite is sympathetic. Otherwise, I would have said, Scorpius or Loki or something like that. But, like, those characters are sympathetic.
I see what you're saying.
In their own way.
Yeah. Zoisite is just kind of evil.
Yeah, he's just bad.
The fact that him and Kunzite have a relationship is cool, but, like, it doesn't make him a good person or anything like that.
Right.
And, like, what he wants is not what the Scouts want and what Sailor Moon wants, and it's not what I want.
Yeah. If Barrel put a gun to Kunzite's head and was like, "You better get those crystals," or Greenie here gets it,
right,
then he'd be like, "Oh no, I give him the crystals."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
But
I
no, he's
agree.
not sympathetic at all.
He's not.
No, not
as much as I love him, he's not.
No. How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I think it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Dean Gray.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on this?
Wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say you sorry.
What?
For Kuro Miru, curiously looking around where we talk about elements in Japanese culture, I thought we could talk about Codename Sailor V and how that manga led to Sailor Moon.
Sailor B.
Sailor B. Yes.
B.
Yeah.
One of the things where, did we just, I guess it's the heart of at the very core of the Romance language pattern is a V sound. A voiced fricative. And everybody else is like,
we don't need that.
No.
Why
Spanish
do we need
is
that?
like, we'll take it, but it'll be a couple different sounds.
Right.
And the Japanese are like, we don't want that.
Yes.
So, way to name your superhero that. Call her
Guts.
Lulu V or something like that. Just
wow.
really
really
spraying
make it
a lot
hard
of
on
tongues
yourself.
in Japan.
So in an interview that was printed in the original Sailor Moon anime Season 1 Laserdisc, Naoko Takeuchi said that her main objective was to, quote, make a story like the Power Rangers series, a girls' version, where the warriors go fighting upon the instructions from a central command post. It didn't turn out that way, though. Of course, from this concept came Sailor Moon. I had wanted to use 5 girls as the fighting warriors.
So, yeah, Luna's kind of the Zordon.
Kind of.
I never really thought about that before.
Yeah, and in a way, yes. So in 1991...
We picked junior high students with attitude. Yeah, right.
In 1991, after she was done with her manga, The Cherry Project, Naoko Takeuchi was given the chance by Nakayoshi, which is a monthly shoujo manga magazine. And Nakayoshi means good friends in Japanese. And shoujo, of course, is a type of manga that is directed towards a female teen audience. Shoujo means young women in Japanese. So she was given the chance to do a one-shot story about whatever she wanted. And from that came Codename Sailor V, or in Japanese, Codename wa Sailor V. The manga was first published on August 3rd, 1991, again as a one-shot in Nakayoshi, but its issues carried over to the sister manga magazine Run Run until 1994. It ran at the same time as the Sailor Moon manga did for many years, and it wrapped up just after the Sailor Moon manga did. Both Nakayoshi and Run Run manga magazines were run by Kodansha Limited, which is the biggest Japanese publishing company, and it mostly publishes manga magazines. Takeuchi was creating the Sailor Moon manga around the same time as Codename Sailor V manga, but the Sailor Moon manga was not published in Nakayoshi magazine until December 28th, 1991. Around 6 months after Sailor V. Because Takeuchi wrote Codename Sailor V and Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon concurrently, Sailor V chapters were published more infrequently and wound up being shorter than Sailor Moon. Sailor V's story starts out in a very similar way to Sailor Moon's. Minako Aino is a normal girl who is found by Artemis, and not Luna, who is another cat who can talk and has a crescent moon bald spot. Artemis informs her that as Sailor V, she must protect the world from wickedness.
It's so weird that, well, it's not weird, I guess, but one definitely came from the other. It's like a prototype.
Yes.
But then she's like, well, okay, so no, I'll rework this to do my idea, which is like Power Rangers, and it's going to have, a varied cast, and we can fight a varied bunch of villains or whatever. But the cat will be a girl instead of a boy. Mm-hmm. The main character will also be blonde, but will be, a character. I mean, this is probably best for developing a show over time, but the character will start off as like very kind of petty and selfish and
right.
We'll hopefully get better and learn responsibility as we go. And so, yeah, I don't know, like I'm still, maybe it's because we've just talked about her, dun say dun la dun we. She's just sort of existed in the wings for so long. I feel like fascinated with her in a lot of ways.
Yes,
but I guess we haven't even seen her like in her regular civilian guise yet. But but I do think that is more like if you're just gonna make up a superhero character. Okay, there's a superpowered girl who has a cat that tells her what to do, and I guess her medium is music sometimes. Like she's gonna beat these like singing bad guys, or she's gonna sing. Right. And that's fine, and you could probably go for a while on that. But yeah, then you go, wait a minute, how can I rework this idea to give it legs so they can last for 200 episodes,
right? And
also leave room for other characters and to build up a squad. Not to be marketable, obviously, because Kodansha is going to want to license and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting to see how it goes from a singular sort of hero to like, here's a group.
Right. Without giving a lot away, Takeuchi has said before that she purposely made Minako and Usagi very similar. That's all I'm going to say about that for now.
Okay.
So that was definitely done on purpose. I think what is interesting is that this story of how this developed, there are some contradictory stories about how Codename Sailor V became Sailor Moon. So one version is that Toei Animation heard about the Sailor V manga and thought that there was a lot of prospect to the story. They then reached out to Takeuchi with the objective to produce an anime, but Toei, according to Takeuchi in an interview with Kappa magazine, quote, wanted to see a group of girls join together, end quote. That proposal would later become the Sailor Moon manga, or Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon, in Japanese, which was first translated as Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon in English and then later translated to Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
A slight variation to the story is that Toei was planning on making an OVA of Sailor V, but then thought that they could do a full anime series if more superhero characters were added to the story. An OVA, which stands for Original Animated Video, they are Japanese animated films or series that are made for release on home video formats without previously airing on TV or in theaters.
Sure.
Another variation was that a different company was going to make a Sailor V OVA, but then went bankrupt. Another version is documented in a different interview with Nako Takeuchi and her manga editor turned manager, Fumio Osano. Takeuchi's nicknames for him are Osabu or Osapi. She named Naru's mom's jewelry store Jewelry Osapi after him. This interview appeared in Figure O or Figure King magazine. As Asano put it, Toei had gone to the editing staff of Nakayoshi looking for recommendations for what manga should be adapted to be its new TV series that would take the desired primetime slot for anime on Saturday nights. Takeuchi said, quote, "So then Osano put together a really suspicious proposal and pitched it to Toei," end quote. To put a proposal together that would appeal to Toei, Asano had to come up with narrative components about how Sailor V was going to evolve into a much larger and more thrilling story. At this time, Takeuchi did not know that Sailor V had been proposed to become an anime and was being pressed by Asano to create a larger universe. Takeuchi and Asano talked about different concepts for the world, and a proposal was developed. In order for the Toei anime manga tie-in, Sailor V would need to be published in Nakayoshi, the flagship magazine, but the editorial staff felt that it would be difficult to extend the story of Sailor V so it could run monthly. Nakayoshi entreated that they altered the overarching atmosphere of the narrative and the characters. Takeuchi wanted to add more romantic elements to the story, as well as showcase friendship, which to her are both big parts of shoujo manga. And thus, Sailor Moon was created.
Yeah.
So, a different take on that. So, there's a lot of stories out there. The events in Sailor V happened 1 year before those in the Sailor Moon manga.
Okay.
So, Minako is 13.
Yeah, right.
Codename Sailor V was published into 15 different chapters that were later compiled into 3 volumes of manga. In 2004, the manga was re-released into 2 volumes with revised dialogue and art. At the same time of its reprinting of the Sailor Moon manga, Kodansha USA licensed deluxe editions of Codename Sailor V for its first English language publication. The volumes were published in 2011.
And how much is it? Like how many pages or volumes or whatever?
So it was, in the original Japanese, it was 3 volumes, but then they reprinted it and made it thicker into 2 volumes.
Oh.
So and there tend to be like shorter than like the Sailor Moon like the Sailor Moon chapters are called acts for some reason, and the Sailor V's are called chapters.
Okay.
So Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Nothing, because guess what? We've got too much stuff to get to in this episode to deal with food. So we're going to move right along.
Yeah, not a lot of time passes in this episode. We kind of, there's a lot going on.
It's laser focused.
Yeah.
My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion and Sailor Moon. What the heck are they wearing? Not a whole lot in this episode, besides Minako's school uniform. One thing that I do want to point out, her uniform is very similar to Ami and Usagi's. It's blue, white, and red. I have read that it is a very typical school uniform, that maybe her school uniform is maybe really, really similar to a lot of things that girls actually wear. And I'm thinking maybe the kerchief or what have you that she wears around her collar is a very typical thing to see as a part of a school uniform.
What, they really make you accessorize your uniform?
Well, you have options, you know? it's just like school uniforms here, right? Like you could wear a sweater or not wear a sweater. You can wear, you know what I mean?
I guess. I used to work at a Catholic school, and, you know, they found all kinds of ways to try to
Oh, sure.
stretch, you know, the dress code and kind of get around it. But most of those kids, at least the kids that I worked with, who were kind of like, you know, alternative kids, the second that last bell rings, that's when the knee-high boots come on.
Right.
You know, and that's when the piercings go in. And yeah.
Yes. I also want to mention that she has a pocket on her shirt.
Yeah, she does.
And none of the other scouts do. And I think that is a it's the same uniform that she has in Codename Sailor V. And in that, I think it was in that or somewhere else that I read that she keeps her transformation pen in her pocket.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if that
answers a question that I never asked, but now we know.
Right. And then we have the white dress that Usagi transforms into at the end of the episode. It is a long, white, flowing empire waisted dress. The sleeves are puffed out and almost look as if they have ribbing from clamshells. The sleeves also flare out a bit at the bottom. The empire waist is emphasized by small gold beads. There is a gold circular chain embellishment at the neckline of the dress. There are multiple layers of fabric with at least 2 different tiers. There is a long flowing bow in the back that is a very light pink. She is also wearing gold spiral earrings and 2 barrettes that are lines of 3 white pearls.
Right. Accessorized.
That's right. Yes.
I've said this on the show before, repeatedly. Everybody's really bad at their jobs.
And what do you mean by that
Who are these
specifically?
cats talking to? You know, I don't mean like cats, like the jazz slang for people or dudes.
You mean
Who are
Luna
these
and
felines
Artemis?
talking to? Get out there and find that moon princess. Okay, well, come on, secret moon princess. Let's find the moon princess. Like, where's the disconnect?
They don't know.
Yeah, do you know? Are you familiar with the show? Prepare to lose all of our listeners.
Uh-oh.
The sitcom The Greatest American Hero, which ran from, I think, 1984 to 1985 or something like that on ABC. It's about William Catt plays a guy who finds a super suit. Aliens, because why not?
Right.
Drop off a costume that gives you superpowers.
Sure.
But William Catt is not, he's no Christopher Reeve. He's just a skinny dude. So it's incongruous. It looks like when, like there'd be a superhero character on the Electric Company. And once again, we've lost all of our listeners, but just some skinny guy in a costume. He puts this thing on and lets him fly. But critically, in the pilot episode, he loses the instruction manual
Oh my
when
goodness.
he gets the suit.
Okay.
So it's the hijinks of this nerdy guy who is trying to fight crime, but he does not understand any of his powers or
Okay.
capabilities,
Sure.
which multiply as the plot requires as the series goes on.
Right.
Was it Robert Culp was the hard bitten cop that was his handler, and then I think Connie Selica was on it too. Again, everyone's asleep right now. That's what this reminds me of. Did they just throw these poor cats onto Earth and just go, get it done? And they're like, but wait, I'm a cat. I don't have thumbs.
Yeah,
I will get
we don't
harassed
know.
by 3 small children in a parking lot.
I know.
Until randomly a girl comes by and goes, leave that cat alone. And I'm like, thanks for saving me. Oh my God, the cat. It talks. This is happenstance not to be believed.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
And what about Rhett Butler? No.
Will we ever see Rhett Butler again?
Anyway.
Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. I thought we would continue our Dark Kingdom Aku no Joho, or evil information.
What?
Because we had no Yoma again this week.
Yeah.
Just Zoisite and Kunzite.
No vote again.
Yes. Who do succeed, like you mentioned, in getting all the rainbow crystals and fatally injuring Tuxedo Mask. Possibly. I don't know. They injured him really bad.
Did I say Tuxedo Mask was gonna die or was gonna be in trouble?
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back.
Well,
and
you
listen
brought
to
it
your
up. I just
predictions.
figured you
Yeah.
know what happens on previous shows. I know I don't.
Shitenno is the Japanese term for the four kings of heaven, or four heavenly kings. This word...
Is that a real thing?
It is. Well, at least for the show, anyways.
Oh.
This word can also be translated as the Big Four or the Great Four. This, of course...
The Gang of Four.
Yeah.
They're not heaven. These aren't good guys.
Yeah, I know.
That was an invasion. Continue.
There's things that happen in the manga that don't happen in the anime, and I don't want to get into it right now because I feel like you would still think it's a spoiler. So I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
And of course, our great four are Jadeite, Nephrite, Zoisite, and Kunzite. The four kings of heaven are called Nega Commanders in the Deke dub, because of course they are.
Right. We gotta put nega in front of everything.
That's right. Nega this, nega that.
Zoisite, get me some nega coffee.
Exactly.
I'm nega tired. I was out nega late last night.
I love it. So I thought we could talk about their outfits really quick. The four kings have similar militaristic dark bluish gray uniforms. They all have jackets, slacks, belts, and white gloves. But did you notice that they all have their own accent colors?
Yes.
Oh, he did notice.
But tell us about it.
Okay, all right. The details on the uniforms have piping or trim on them that most likely also hints at the lining of the jacket. Jadeite is red, Nephrite is yellow, Zoisite is dark green, and Kunzite is light blue.
And Kunzite's he's got his flap open.
Right.
And I know that the Japanese are not genetically hairy people generally. And maybe it goes against the kind of Bishonen thing that they've got going on
Sure.
with the four kings, but he should have a little
tuft.
little green Sean Connery rug
go,
there.
right.
What about that, right?
Yeah.
Just to sell that masculinity.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying.
There'd be a lot of questions to parents on that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe that's why they left it out.
Ragu.
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh, no.
Continue. Sabu Dabu Ragu.
Jadeite's belt appears to also be red. All of their jackets fasten with a button on the right shoulder. Most of their buttons are gold, but Nephrite's is red. Nephrite and Kunzite, of course, both have epaulets. Nephrites have red buttons, and Kunzites have dark blue buttons, and they help fasten his cape to his uniform, which is white on the outside with a blue lining.
Mm-hmm.
Now I thought we would talk about their names.
Oh, we've done that before.
Well, I mean in like the in the sub and the dub.
Oh, sure.
So Jadeite is technically pronounced Jedaito in Japanese. In the Deke dub, his name is changed to Jedite. Jedite.
Right.
I think I have probably referred to him as Jadeite a couple of times on the show, so I apologize. That's where it's coming from.
But he's just like the mineral is jadeite.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And when he's a radio DJ, he's jadeite on the midnight hour.
Oh, believe me, it does not get better from here.
Oh, no.
Nephrite is technically pronounced Nephorito in Japanese. In the Deke dub, his name is changed to Nephlite.
Huh.
I feel offended. For some reason, I don't even remember this. And his so literally they changed the R to an L. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, if they're just all you have to do is just go, there are literal rocks who have these names.
Right.
And it's the same name for that rock in any language.
Yes.
It's a technical name.
Yes.
So why just do that? Instead, they're like, play it back again. Yeah, it's Nephlite. They're just listening to like
Maybe
the Japanese.
That's what
You're just listening to the anime in Japanese?
Maybe that's what it is. And his alter ego disguise, Masato Sanjoin, was changed to Maxfield Stanton in the dub.
Strong. It's very strong.
This one is just... we'll get to it. Zoisite is technically pronounced Zoisito in Japanese. In the Deke dub, the spelling of his name was changed from Zoisite, Zoisite, to Zoisite, Zoycite.
Okay.
I don't know why. In the Viz dub, they changed the spelling of his name back to the original spelling.
Okay, thank you, Viz.
Yeah. Kunzite is technically pronounced Kunzaito in Japanese. In the Deke dub, they changed his name to Malachite.
What?
Yep. Like I said, I don't know why.
I mean, we haven't even talked about him yet and his mineral, so maybe we'll learn when we do that malachite is very similar in either composition or appearance. But I mean, I can see them changing that one.
Yeah, I guess. In Nako Takeuchi's book, The Materials Collection, which is a art book that contains Takeuchi's preliminary and prototype designs of the characters specifically for the animation, she discloses the ages of the four kings. This book includes drawings of all the main characters plus more. The drawings are divided up into all 5 seasons of the anime.
Wait, what are their ages? It's Christmas.
According to Takeuchi herself, Jadeite is about 18.
What?
Nephrite is 19. Zoisite is about 16 to 17. And Kunzite is about 25 to 26.
This is the ages they appear, though, right? They've been alive for hundreds of years.
Well, that's
They're
true.
Otherworldly beings.
That is true.
I wanted the real tea. I want to see some
342.
I want to see some evil IDs here. All right.
I get where you're coming from. I would have liked that too.
All right.
Apparently, Nephrite's home in the anime was an abandoned church.
I could totally see that.
Okay.
But
so, I mean, there
an
was...
abandoned church transported from some other place?
I don't know!
Because it appears and then disappears.
Well, true. And there is stained glass in it, but I don't remember any other... Well, I don't remember any Christian iconography.
That's pretty sweet, though.
Yeah.
No, he's got to take that out. It's like Dracula. He can't.
He can't be near
no,
any of that.
He doesn't want that in there.
Yeah, right. In the materials collection, Takeuchi describes Nephrite as likely to get himself killed, and Kunzite as having the majesty of an Arabian king. Okay. The 4 kings have more camaraderie than competition in the manga. Nephrite vows to avenge Jadeite's death and revive him. In the manga, another reason why the Dark Kingdom wants the silver crystal is that it will allow them to revive the dead Shitenno.
They can bring him back?
Yeah, with a silver crystal.
Oh boy, I hope you didn't ruin anything.
I did not.
Oh, now I know they won't be coming back.
Well,
you should be very careful, shouldn't you?
Hey!
A baby could deduce some of this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Moving on.
Something we haven't touched upon much yet is there have currently been 39 different Sailor Moon live-action musical stage shows, which are often referred to as Sailor Mew, an abbreviation for Sailor Moon musicals. And the 4 Kings of Heaven appear in most, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Yes. The musical that came out in 2013 was called La Reconquista. In the musical, the 4 Kings of Heaven pretend to be an idol boy band known as Pandemic 4. That's the number 4.
Oh, man.
The group consisted of Kunza, Jed, Nephra, and Zoe.
Zoe's a bad boy.
Are 4 kings, right.
Look out, girls, he's married.
Right. The scouts go to a game show convention where Pandemic 4 are giving out a new game to girls called Pandemic Love Game.
Look out, girls, it'll drain your energy.
Yes, but they use the game to zap the energy of those who played it for
I know.
Pharaoh.
Yes.
Yes.
Ugh.
The boy have one song called Erosion Boy.
Erosion Boy?
I had to share that because I love that so much. The musical started in 1993 and ran consistently until 2005. They started up again in 2013 and have been running ever since. In this particular Sailor Moon musical, all the male parts are played by actresses a la Takarazuka Revue. The Takarazuka Revue is an all-female Japanese musical theater troupe based in Takarazuka, Hyogo Prefecture, Japan. Women portray all the roles in opulent Broadway-style productions of Western-style musicals and are often tales based on Japanese folktales and shoujo manga. Some actresses in the musical are former Takarazuka Revue performers. And Takeuchi herself is a Takarazuka Revue fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who goes to these?
Sailor Moon fans.
But like adults?
They're adults now. Like,
all right. Yeah, I know now. But I mean, like, what's the target audience? Even in
everybody.
Even in the show in Sailor Moon, we just covered an episode where they go to a show at an amusement park, and it's Super Mega Man or Red Man. Red Man. That's right. That's right. And it's like, well, I mean, this is for kids, but like. Right. Who goes to this in Japan? Because if you've got like Sesame Street on Ice or I don't know, whatever, like they've got Ninja Turtles on Ice, Sesame Street on Ice, I don't know.
Right.
It's for kids.
Well, so Sailor Moon's target audience when I think it came out was like preteens or teens.
Facts and figures to me.
But
just tell me you don't know.
I don't know. But I'm assuming teens, but then also the adult Sailor Moon fans.
I just want to know because I'll be there and I want to know how weird that's going to be.
I want to be there.
You got to see that Four Kings boy band.
Right?
Let's call them Four Kings. That's your boy band name right there.
Right, not Pandemic 4.
No.
For Sabu or Dabu, where we talk about the differences in the sub and the dub. In the dub, the scene where Tuxedo Mask is run through by Zoisite's crystal, it is shortened by a few seconds. In the dub, you can see the crystal striking him, but not actually moving through him.
They do that silhouette thing where there's a red background and a black silhouette of a figure, and then, he gets penetrated. It's like it goes in for a ways.
Right. The dub cut the part where Zoisite's cheek gets scratched from the rose, but it was mentioned off screen. So I don't know. I guess we show the interesting thing is they kept the blood from Mamoru's injury and then it getting on Usagi's hand.
Yeah,
but they cut the cheek thing.
Yeah.
So it's silly to me.
Yeah.
And now we are where we rate the episode 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the best. Personally, I love this episode so much. I almost cried multiple times, and then at the end of the episode, I did cry. So, and one of the parts that got to me so much is when like Usagi is trying to decide if she should transform or not, and I love it so much because she's being like so brave, and then she actually goes for it. So this one is a 5 roses for me.
Wow. Strong.
Yes.
I would have to go, I think 4.
Okay.
Almost go 3.
Really?
Well, there are some great moments. But this is certainly, life and drama aren't like Star Wars, where the middle one is the best. In many forms of media, the middle is the worst part. You've got an interesting introduction to a character, you've got a sense-shattering conclusion, and the middle part is just connecting those two. And there's nothing really wrong with this. There's some great moments in it, but it's all, I already want to push play on the next one.
I guess
I guess I might feel that way at the end of Empire Strikes Back, but I'm not sitting back and really contemplating all that much after this episode. Like, it's just getting us to, oh my God. So, all right. So is Tuxedo Mask dead? Is Usagi the Moon Princess? It's just like, let's get to it. I know that there's a conclusion coming up. And so I'd rather go there. So, I mean, it's still strong, and there's a lot of info being dumped on us here. So yeah, I mean, I'll go 4.
Okay. My English title is Identity Unmasked.
second phrase.
Emotions run high. I don't know.
It's supposed to be, this is what the English titles are.
I know.
Identity Unmasked is
half of a title?
should be Identities Unmasked.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Where there's more than one identity that's unmasked.
Yes.
My crappy Deke title is The Tower of Terror.
Well, that's, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is.
I thought about a Towering Inferno, but again, that's our audience.
Oh, my goodness.
Sleeping on the old-timey references.
Oh, no.
Yeah, The Tower of Terror.
Okay. All right. What was the name of the ride at MGM Studios?
I think it was at Disney. It's The Tower of Terror.
Oh, okay. Man, all right.
Deke's not above stealing something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, no,
fair
that's
enough.
fine. Yeah.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 35. Yomigaeru Kyoku, Usagi to Mamoru no Kako in Japanese. Returning Memories, Usagi and Mamoru's Past, the English translation, and the English title, A Reluctant Princess.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Get those memories back. Kindergarten was really tough for me.
Oh, man.
I'm just remembering now. Come on.
I used to eat paste.
You're 6. Yeah, I've really discovered a love for paste recently. Did you ever try that new paste store down the way?
Yeah, right.
A sticky situation.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
I'm Sarah Koenig, and this has been Serial.